Oh yeah. Right, so it's the 31st of May and we have a small problem, which is one thing that I did actually anticipate. This. I did leave expansion gaps, but clearly not enough. The lengths are too long. Shorter lengths are okay, anything longer than about 18 inch, I have a problem. Like this one. No. I've checked all the frogs. I did cut the odd one. Most of them are good, but this bit is not. So what I'm going to do is what I was going to do originally, and I thought maybe I could get away with it, but obviously not, is I'll cut it about here and about here, take the piece out, dress the ends, dress those other ends, fish plate them, right? So then that one piece will essentially become three pieces, and then on the middle section piece I'll put dropper wires in the centre of the track to give it power, and then it can expand both ways. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we've got the first one done. It's not wide yet. It's been cut, dressed, fish plated, put back in. So now there's no warp there. There's still a teeny bit of gap if it needs to move, but not too much. It's wired here, and it's wired, well, in fact that's it. So yeah, I still need to put a dropper in. So I'll put it in the middle, and it can expand both ways. Okay, another baby update. Still got to do this one. That was already cut there, I didn't realise, so that's fine. With these ones, right, there you go, cut and fish plated. Same again. D just means I'm going to put droppers there, basically. And well, get back in a bit. I'm not going to wire them up just yet. I've just done tests and there's electrical continuity with the fish plates, but I know in time that often breaks down, especially with paint and dust and micro arcing that causes carbon deposits and all the rest of the crap. So I'm going to do this when I install the electromagnets for the points, and possibly when I do the signals, because I'm not quite sure what system I'm going to use yet for them. But every time I take the boards out, these joins are at risk, and I've caught them a few times already, so I don't want to be taking the board out every 2 minutes. This rail and this rail, I've just basically took them out, clipped the ends, filed it and put it back in, and that solved those bends. Oh, good to know it still runs. Well, it's 12th of July, and this mess is actually progress. I've started the Kerbs. Okay, couldn't find track setters I wanted, so basically I've 3D printed my own 22, 20 and 24 inch radius. There we go. Essentially all you do, you just flip it in. You can slide a little bit, it'll kind of catch slightly, but then when you're happy, put a screw in to clamp it. There is a bit of movement, but I'll sort that when it comes to ballasting. I've done the same as before, soldered them with little bits of brass. Ideally you want to screw them in, but I seem to be getting away with it. Cut this one with this saw because I get it actually in the board, so it provided a nice little bit of movement. I made the gap bigger by heating up and pulling the rail out, so you've got more of an expansion gap. This one can't get the blade in, so I'm going to use this. I went both ways because of the angle. I'll clean it up with a file and see how things roll. Right, okay. Steady. Seems fine. Seems fine. And do a wiggle test. So we go through and turn it. And turn it. Seems fine on both. That's good. Seems fine. One more test. Again, seems pretty good. So, I'm happy with that. We now need to do the branch track. And then once it's all done and got all these things done, then I can take this board out, that board out, do some extra wiring. If this warps, like the other ones did, I'll have to put a break in the middle. Because we've got a break here, and we've got one here, and that's it. Right, on to the next curve. I got sniffles, by the way, that's why I sound a bit funny. I can't really help it. I cleaned my room earlier, and now I have sniffles. So, we've just done these two curves, and we're going to do this one, although it's orientated that way, obviously. So I don't think the curve itself is quite as critical. The more space I give it here, the more tunnel mouth I can have, essentially, or the bank leading up to it, this bit. At the same time, though, I might put a level crossing here, if I can fit it. That's only a maybe. But start with a 24 inch. This is just roughly at the moment, just to get an idea. Maybe immediately bend or straight on bend, I don't know. Let's try and, I don't know, try it here. Again, it's just approximation to get an idea. Seems to be pretty nice at holding it in position though. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. That's how it looks. It's not going to work. Yeah, okay. I think that could work. Yeah. Welcome to the shit tip. We got a core bore, and it will be a bore core. Magic! Quickest Boco conversion ever. Nope, it'll be a Boco eventually. I have a Boco, it's a Silver Fox kit, but the Hellion one is significantly better. Anyway, so, blah blah blah. I've got some electromagnets that I want to install. I have 3 of them from the old P4 layout. But I'm going to need to buy more, because I need some for this. They need to go everywhere. Right, and we've got the curves done. You may be surprised to hear that these curves took me approximately, I would say 4 to 5 hours collectively in different stints, because I'm picky and obviously they're a bit tight, and doing these things is a bit tricky. There's going to be a tunnel mouth here covering it, so it doesn't particularly matter about neatness. This one does matter, and my soldering skills are so-so, but it does the job. So we have a 22 inch, 24 inch and a 22 inch radius. I used these, made my own little track setters. I've also got the different sizes too. Because I'm using ding hams, it's a bit tight. It's just making it. I did have some things derailing a little bit because again we are on borderline due to lack of space, but we're getting by, and it could be tweaked a bit more if necessary. But the main point is these things are done all around on this board, so I can take the board out, and the other boards for that matter, and get wiring. And that's important because obviously I need the tracks to work, I need the connection loops doing. Obviously the layout can start to curve around then. Once this is done, I then do the other one, obviously over there, where all the shite is. At that point, I think I might do the hole. I wanted to talk about couplings because this is obviously one of those big things that it's horses for courses or trucks for sidings. Everybody's got a different opinion of what couplings are like or what's practical for their particular layout, right? Now, one thing I'll say off the bat, I absolutely hate tension lock couplings. Can't stand them, it's personal opinion, not saying don't use them, I just don't like them. In the words of Tony Wright, they are obese snowplows. Quite a nice description, I think, quite funny. People often like to substitute them for KDs, and again, they can be functionally a bit better, but for UK stock at least, they still look like giant battering rams or something. Not ideal. So, you've heard me mention dinghams a lot. I'm going to show you some dinghams now. I'm going to show you how they work. And I'm going to show you how I've been modifying some of them and how I'm actually bodging them with 3-link and screw link and my thought process. So I'm going to show you now what's going on. Okay, welcome back to the layout. Now, this here is a dingham, okay? Might have focusing problems, we often get that. Essentially, it's that. It's a little loop that flicks up and at the same time it moves an iron dropper forward. So if you get a magnet here, it pulls that and it lifts it up, okay? On the other side, you also have a dingham, but now you have a latch. That little piece there. There's different types of latches. On the other type of latch, you can put some 3 links on it if you want. On this one you can't, but the idea is when the loop goes on, is inside there, well, the loop comes in, it goes up and it drops inside, so you're coupled. When you uncouple, the loop flips up and drops on top of the latch. So you can still push the loco, well, you can still push the stock where you want, but when you pull away, it doesn't uncouple. Call it delayed uncoupling. And it works a bit like this. Just zoom in for you. Okay, that's pretty much how it works. You are supposed to push on the buffers, but these aren't set up correctly. And then when the electromagnet fires, that goes up, goes on top, and you can push it where you want, and it leaves it. That's a concept, okay? So I've not got everything perfectly built, and there's a lot of tweaking involved. Now, one way that I'm bodging things is if you look at this one, there's no actual iron drop, I'm using iron links instead. To do that, you have to build the dingham coupling wrong. You have to bend it out of shape. But if you do it correctly, it still works. And it looks a damn sight better, in my opinion. Okay, now for wagons, just like this, open tops. And for closed vans, I'm using dinghams because they're going to be shunted. Okay, typically, they're going to be changing forms, train formations often. When you have one of these, a tanker, and some other stock that's not going to be shunted often, I'm just putting good old 3-link or screw link on. In this case I'm using Smiths. Now the reason I'm using Smiths is because they're actually slightly over scale. So if you want the best in scale, they're not the best option. But for what I'm doing, I would say they are the best option, because with a slight bend of position or a little filing just to tweak the shape, they're compatible with dinghams, which I'll show you. Okay, but you just lose a delayed uncoupling effect. Plus, if you want to do some aggressive shunting, it doesn't couple up, which is actually really cool, I think, and useful if you wish to film something interesting. Okay, so that's the other consideration. Now another one is Kerbs and locomotives with long overhangs. They obviously can't manage the curves well, you get buffer locking. So now we have another bodge, which is this. The super loop. You start off with a dingham and you put this supersized fat loop on it that's scratch built. This is a Mark 1 version, which at the moment the heights aren't perfectly set up, but we'll see if it works. There you go. brake pipes can be a pain. So I've actually changed the brake pipe in this loco so it doesn't catch. Okay, and I've found that when it's coupled up, the thickness of the loop pushes against the back part of the hook, keeping the buffers apart so you don't get buffer lock. It actually works surprisingly well, but like I said, it does take quite a bit of honing to make everything completely compatible. So now it's a bit too high. It takes a lot of faffing and fiddling to get everything the same, but that one's joined. So that's the concept with the couplings. Quite a lot of different things going on. Essentially, the Locomotives are the stars of the show. I don't want them having tension lock couplings, KDs, or even dinghams apart from a couple of locos. For the most part, I just want realistic-ish hooks. And some of those hooks might have to be stationed too far away from the buffer beam to work a bit better with this bodgy setup. But that's fine. It's better.